How to beat Nekroz. I think people's mindset is in the wrong place because you should not be focusing on how to beat them. You should be focusing on not fucking dying. This is relevant as Nekroz are the new thing. And people are going to be looking for ways to beat them. But this goes for every other strategy that has ever shaped a format. And people have looked at seemingly shitty cards to beat them. You never beat a particular strategy with one card. It's that, slowing them down, and other things, and then on top of your deck being able to apply pressure to your opponent. Because having all the hate don't mean shit when the deck that you're trying to beat with these side deck cards can simply summon a monster and attack you. It's pretty demoralizing shit. So Nekroz is the topic of discussion. Let's talk about some options. First things first. Like, not every deck can play this shit, and it's for good reason. Mistake. Mistake basically says fuck Nekroz in the search. Does not stop them from ritual summoning, but it stops them from searching. And they have to more or less deal with the cards that they have in their hand because they cannot pitch and search and all other crap because, yeah, some of you like that stuff. Because not every deck can play this, maybe like one or two, if that, and there's probably some other deck that can play it, but then you'd have to make your deck really shitty just to support Mistake, but Mistake by itself ain't enough because you can only play 3 Mistake. In Thunder King's case, you can only play 1 of that. Shed Ride. This is the maxi of the card searching era or something. Nekroz can search a whole lot. But when Shattered Rise is activated off their first search, obviously, because you want to get your first card, they're either going to have to give you more cards, which they normally don't want to do, or they stop, which you would like them to do. Either way, it's good for you. I feel like people play these type of side cards in the wrong decks. Now, in my opinion, feel free to disagree. Playing Shattered Ride in something like Tellarknights makes little sense to me because in Tellarknights you play a whole lot of back row. You have traps and things you want to get. You want to go first. You want to have that shit. Have the shared ride when your opponent starts searching. And it is nice to get an extra card or two. But how many cards are you expecting to be good against Nekroz because you play shared ride in your deck and then you have Call the Haunted and your Novas and your Oasis and simply just things that you play in your Tellarknight deck. What cards in particular you are trying to draw in Tellarknights? The fucking point and the main reason that Tellarknights are even a deck is the fact that you can play a low number, and Road is at 3. You can play a low number of monsters and play mostly traps that continuously summon your Tellarknights. Playing something like Shared Ride in Tellarknights to get more cards makes little sense. But if you play Shared Ride and Nekroz against the mirror, then it's great, my opinion. If you're playing Shared Ride and Cleaforts against Nekroz, the cards that you get work. You can complete your Pendulum Scale. You can commence to kill the Nekroz player quicker as opposed to if he was playing Shared Ride in Tellarknights. What is the best you could really do? I could summon a Triver or a Delteros or something. In most decks, I'm not a fan of a card that lets you draw more cards, but the cards that you want to draw aren't going to help you kill your opponent quicker or slow your opponent down. If you're playing some hand traps or something like Maxi or something, then I suppose that makes sense. But then it's like most people will not let you get more than one card off a shared ride if they can help it. Now, some people can't even go that far. You got to go deep. Something like Master or Strict or something. Rituals are considered tributing the monsters. Outside of Vexamir banishing shit from the grave or Kaleidoscope sending something from the extra deck, you tribute for ritual summons, and if you happen to have Master Restrict and they don't have any other way to summon the Nekroz and they gotta tribute monsters, they can't do that. But this isn't a card that you use in every deck because there's better options, as I've mentioned previously. but that is an option when the other options available to you might not be the best thing for you. I believe I've seen Master Strict cited in the OCG with Yasenju. Mirror of the Ice Barrier doesn't stop Nekroz from doing anything or take cards out the hand or nothing. But what it does do is that it basically mirrors the effect of Trishula, which is pretty damn linear. And if the only thing you really care about is them having more cards to search and whatever, Mirror is pretty good in that regard. But then again, it's like, what deck would rather use Mirror over anything else that's been listed? Mind Crush is generally just good as a card that kind of slows them down, but kind of doesn't. I think Mind Crush is good in combination with other cards. Mind Crush is the card that lets you see what your opponent has before you choose to do something else. Maybe you've got like an emptiness, or maybe that Master Strict I was talking about, or whatever the case is. Now you should rarely miss with Mind Crush because of that. Of course, there are many other things that you could look at. Curse Seal on one of the mirrors so they can't play it or something. I don't really think that's good, but the general point of the video here is that you should not be focusing on using these cards in your side deck or even main deck to beat Nekroz. You should be focusing these, one, taking out the cards that are seemingly useless against Nekroz and playing cards that are effective against them. And just because you have these cards does not mean that you're going to win. If you have all hate and no way to kill them, then what the fuck are you doing? But if you have a perfect balance, or you just happen to draw the right stuff at the right time, or your opponent doesn't have the suitable solutions to your problem cards, then just consider yourself lucky, because in card games in general, you're better off being lucky than good. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Appreciate that shit. I apologize if I was too advanced. Psych. If you want to support me or something, all I ask is for you to spend literally seconds out your day and click an advertisement. That money goes to me paying rent to live in this motherfucker. Cause I ain't going no motherfucking way with this fucking wind and shit. I'm too damn skinny for that. And I'd be grateful and appreciative if you could find some time to help a brother out.